Awesome. Welcome everyone to the next episode of Coding Out Loud. I'm JT or Nexay. Today on the docket, we're going to be doing some more Sub Squad stuff. And so there's a couple of things I want to get done tonight. So number one is we have a blog on the site, but there is no sitemap.xml. And so this makes it really hard for Google to find us and to index those blog posts. So we're going to use Spossy's sitemap package, and that should only take a few minutes to get installed and tested and stuff. And then we also want to schedule it to run every night, kind of thing, to make sure that it's indexing all of the posts. Or maybe we'll update it every hour or something. We can figure that out. That should only take hopefully no more than 20 minutes, half an hour, kind of thing at the very most. It's a pretty simple package from the research I've been doing on it. And then the second thing that's probably going to take a little more time, but hopefully shouldn't take too long, is so for our league fetchers. So when a new season is kind of announced by a league, let's say the NHL announces their league, what we want to do is basically go out and fetch all the information about the league, the games, all the teams and their logos, all the new venues and that kind of stuff. And so right now we're basically using these custom arrays to generate the information before a job is kicked off, to loop through those and to create all the actual information in the database. So what I would like to do is actually make the game, the team, the venue, and the season information as classes rather than arrays, because arrays can have effectively any structure as they're created. Whereas if we make these kind of fetcher game and fetched team and fetched venue and fetched season classes, we can force them to be a certain structure, which is good for consistency. It means that there's some guardrails up for future leagues that we want to import. It's a lot easier to just ensure that people are using the right kind of class and that they're sending the right kind of data, and we don't have to just hope that they're doing it right. It also makes it a lot easier to maintain because we know what a game is supposed to look like, what a team is supposed to look like. And if we have to go back like we did last week, which was a failed stream because I ended up broadcasting the entire 2 hours without my mic on, which was amazing. We ran into this problem, and that's kind of where I got the idea is that we have these arrays and we just want to go back and refactor them to use these proper classes because it's the right way to do it. So I guess without further ado, I guess we just get into it. And so let's go take a look at the sitemap package from Spossy. And I believe it's a pretty simple installation. We basically just do a composer require. We want to have a command that effectively generates this sitemap, and I believe that's pretty much all we have to do here. So we can go installation right here, copy this, and go to our terminal and require that. Oh, fantastic. Okay, I'm going to hide the desktop for a minute here because I don't want people to see it. So just give me 1 second here. I'm just going to get a code. Where is my GitHub? Repo. Yeah, that should be okay. Did I create that wrong? It's gonna be one of those days. I can just feel it. What are we? Cannot fetch. New and access private repo. typos. There we go. Okay, so close that, and I can get back to the desktop here. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have the package installed now. And so let's see, are there any options that we actually need to change here? I don't believe so. No, okay. So what we want to do, I think, is we're going to make a command that runs this create method on the sitemap generator. So let's go to art make command generate sitemap. And let's open this up. Generate sitemap. All right, so we're going to say sitemap generate a sitemap.xml for SEO purposes. Okay, so we want to go over here and we want to use the sitemap generator create. Sitemap generator create. And so we want to say /blog, I guess is where we'll start the indexing. And get sitemap. And let's just DD that out and see what we get from that. So art sitemap generate. Nothing. Okay. Why is it getting nothing? So is there a way? Maybe we have to actually output it. Let's go like this. And do we get anything in the sitemap XML? There are no URLs in here. Okay. So let's say I'm curious. So it's probably expecting a full URL path. So we're going to have to get that from the app URL, https config app URL. Now do we get anything? Probably not. Because we can just leave this open on the right here just to see if it changes. Okay, so nothing yet. No. Is there... profile. Okay, so let's just... Okay, so in this case, they're not passing the URL at all. They're just saying adding. So let's try and not pass any path. Let's just say nothing. Let's see if it's smart enough to figure that out. No, too few arguments to function. Spatie, 0 passed, and exactly 1 expected. Okay, so let's just, for the sake of argument, this is obviously not going to last, but let's just say, let's say we wanted to use that. Okay, that works. Okay, so how many blog posts do we have in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is correct. Okay. So what we need to do is, well, now I'm curious. What is it? If we go ddconfig app.url, what does it think the app URL is? Oh, okay. So we don't need to add the path. We can just go like this. All right. So now if we just clear that out and run the generator again. Cool. Okay, so that's basically what we want. So we've got the, now I'm curious. Yeah, no, that's fine. Getting all of those, which is good. Okay, so at this point, we just want to say art make sitemap, make test sitemap generator test. This is going to be a very simple test, sitemap generator test. And so we want to say it can generate a sitemap on demand. So we want to say this artisan sitemap generate. And then how do we want to do this? We want to say this assert true. We're going to use the file. Is there file? Is there like an exists class or exists method? Apparently not. Basically, we just want to check to see if the disk, or if this, oh yeah, actually it's okay. It's the storage assert exists. We want to say sitemap.xml. Let's run that and see what fails. Unable to find a file or directory at path sitemap.xml. Okay. Let's bring our sitemap generator back up here. And let's just make sure that it's being called. Okay, so it is being called. Let's make this a little prettier. Write to disk public. Let's go storage. Fake. That's interesting. I'm not super concerned about this because their test is basically, or their tests for this package will cover 99% of this. Oh, actually, here's exactly what we were doing. So, yeah, sitemap generate the sitemap. This is literally exactly what we were just doing, except they're using the write to file instead of write to disk. So we're using, the way this is working is we're using the storage disk called public, which should be here. We shouldn't have to fake this specific one here, but yeah. Now because that's happening, how do we want to do this? Do we care? I don't think I care enough. Okay, we're just going to ignore that, and we're going to get rid of that file altogether. And so we are going to go into the kernel now, and run that hourly. Console. And we want to say hourly. Okay, so right now what's happening is it's going to run this generate command hourly, which is fine. It just means that if any new blog posts are posted, and we do have, I think, 4 or 5 still queued up to be posted and that are scheduled. And so when those go live, within 1 hour, they'll show up in the sitemap, which is fine by me. So let's commit those, adding sitemap functionality. Okay. And then commit. Cool. Okay, so the scheduler is done. Sitemap package is working, so this is good. It's not going to let us do that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to work on are these classes. And so these are basically just going to be simple PHP classes that are going to, in the constructor, accept whatever we were originally expecting the structure of the array to look like, just so that we have a little more enforcement of consistency. And so I will show you what an example of those would be. So the final step in any fetcher is this prepare seasons. And so what happens is it creates this idea of a season store, which has a season property, and then there's this league ID, has a start date and an end date, and then there's these sub values, teams, venues, and games. Pardon me. And each of those teams, venues, and games are created as part of this fetch data from APIs. Now we're doing a little more than we should here in this, and this will be refactored out later. But basically we're creating a list of teams, a list of venues, and a list of games. And if we go to the create new season job, I even created like this comment when I was doing this, where to show exactly what data types should be for each value. So league ID has to be an int, start date needs to be a timestamp, end date timestamp, and then you get this so each team needs to be a list of teams, and each team is an array itself of a nickname and a logo, and a venue needs to be a name and a time zone, and games have this structure, right? So basically what we want to do is we want to take this structure and basically create our own set of classes, basically. So we'll have like a season class, which will have 6 or 7 properties, whatever it is. We'll have a team class, which will accept 2, a venue that'll accept 2, and a game that'll accept 2. And so if we go here, how do we want to do this? So let's say we're going to say app. Nope, we want to create a new folder, not there, on app, called, how do we want to call this? We want to say fetcher models. And so in this, we want to create, let's say, a venue.php. So this is going to be a PHP, and it's going to be namespaced to app fetcher models and class venue. And so in the constructor, construct, hate that VS Code does that. So what do we want here? In the create new season for venue, we need the name. So we can say public string name and public. How can we do this? Public string time zone equals null. Yeah, there we go. And so now we can just duplicate that, and we'll call this one team. string nickname. And logo URI. Okay. I'm gonna have a game. Okay, so we got home team, away team, venue, public string, start date. Okay, so in fact, I actually want to call this something a little bit different. I want to call these fetched game and fetched team. Okay, and so the reason I want to do that is so that I just don't want there to be, so I use autocomplete as most coders do, and so I don't want to type V for venue and have this one popped up, because this is only going to be used in a very specific circumstance, and that's when we're fetching these things. So this is going to be, I want to basically know that this is only going to show up when I'm looking for the fetched version of it. All right. And so then we need one final one for the season. And so we have a league ID, and this is actually an int, public string. How do we want to do this? So timestamps are still going to be strings in this case. Start date. Date, and then we want public array of teams, and venues, and games. All right. So we're actually going to be changing these from arrays to collections, because collections have another cool property where we can enforce to make sure that the collection of teams that we're going to pass are only teams, which is kind of a cool kind of bonus. But for right now, we're just going to leave it as arrays, and then we can again refactor back into exactly what we want. So what do we want to do? Let's go to the NHL season fetcher, and let's just take a look and see how we have things set up here. So everything's going to be in the NHL fetcher, I believe. NHL fetcher. And so the way it's working is this. So this venues, this games, right. Okay, so we'll start with the venues first. So we are going to say, how do we want to do this? I think what we're going to do is let's just duplicate and comment, so we can go new fetched venue, and we're going to say venue because that's the name, and the time zone is going to be that. Okay, and so yes, that should work. And then for the teams, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to comment this out for a minute, and then we are going to go new fetched team. So it's going to look for the away team in this instance and original logo URI. do the same here. So new fetched team. It's going to be home team and original logo URI. Okay. Okay, so we got the yes, that, and then the game. So comment that out. So new fetched game. So we're going to say home team, away team, venue, and start date. Okay, so if this all works, and I'm not super confident that it will, but we can give it a shot. We're just going to go filter equals NHL. Can I use a default param? Oh, okay. I was worried that was going to be the case. So fetched venue. So fortunately for these, actually, no, we don't want to have null. It's going to be UTC regardless. If we don't know what it is, it's going to be UTC. It should always be past the value. So even better. Okay. Can I use object of the type as array? So where are we doing that? Line 99. Okay, well actually that's actually fine because this is in the CreateNewSeason job, and so it's basically added everything correctly. So if we go back to this, and we just actually I guess we're gonna have to use the NHL fetcher for now. Let's just dump out the first. Fetched game equals this equals fetched game. And I want to DD out the fetched game. Okay, so home team, away team. Yeah, that works. Center bell is the Montreal Canadiens, and the start date, yes. Okay, so we are in business here. That's good. So we can remove that. We can go like this. Again, I just want to make sure that we're getting the right thing here. Okay, that's the right time zone. Good stuff. And then fetched away equals that. Okay, it's got that. Let's just go double check that that's the right logo. Good stuff. Okay. And the same thing for up here. Fetched home equals that. Okay, so if we go back here, okay, and so we can close out of this one. If I want to DD this season store, I want to make sure that it's actually getting what we're looking for here. So season, and let's dump out the teams, for example. Okay. Yeah, that's right. And venues should be 2. Oh, okay. Apparently we only have 1 game listed. That's fine. Okay, we have 2 games listed, but they're both the same one at the same time zone. That's fine. Okay. So, that actually is not fine because it's not deduplicating them because it sees them as different, which sucks. Okay, so let's go back to the NHL Fetcher for a second. So where it's creating the game, so it's just adding them. So then is the fixture... NHL fixtures. Let's go take a look at that. I don't think I have 2 games in there. Feature, fixtures, NHL season. Team. Yeah, it should only be doing that once. And yet it's finding 2 games. Fetch game. Let's try something. How many times is this loop being run? Let's split this right. And I just want to DD done. I only want it to run once. Yeah, so it's running that loop twice. So why is it doing that? So for team schedule. Oh, because it's seeing the teams differently. Right. Well, that really sucks. Actually, oh yeah, it does. Again, so last week when I was on mute the entire time, we basically we imported the new NHL API. And so they've changed their endpoint. So you cannot get the full season for all teams all at once. You basically have to fetch each team. Actually, it still shouldn't matter. We should only be getting... Yeah, it's because of this. So, league teams as team. Yeah, I really, really dislike what they did with this new endpoint. It makes things so much more complicated here. So, team data, we get the list of teams. So yeah, so here's where we get the list of teams. And then for each team as their team, go get their schedule. I guess what we can do is if game type equals to and, so actually I need to dump out game for a second here because I need to see what this is going to look like. So basically we're just looking for the home team. So if home team place name default and home game, wow, home team place name default equals team full name. There, now we should only get the home team. Okay, what is it squawking about? Teams must not be accessed before initialization. Okay, so it's saying that we haven't even created teams yet. Okay. So, oh, and of course, yeah, so what we really want to do is we want to pull this up here. Now, if we say home team, yeah, I still think that's going to fail because let's put this back. Let's think about this for a second. If the game's home team is the team we're working on, then we want to do this stuff. Don't want to do it twice. Right? Like, I just want to make sure team schedule isn't actually showing two different games here. No, it's only showing one, so it's happening twice. So if I say team full name, Calgary Flames. Okay, so we're working on the Calgary Flames. So we want to say if the team's full name is, yeah, if the team's full name is the game's home team, right? Home team, place name. Oh, right, because it's not the... Again, because they don't have the full team name, it's just the city. Man, they made this difficult. So how do we get this? So if the home team ID, game home team ID is, so how are we going to look this up? I don't think we have a list of team IDs anywhere. This league teams. Actually, okay, so what we can do then is we can say if the team full name is equal to this league teams indexed of the home team ID. So what this is going to do is it's going to look up this league teams. It's going to find either 20 or 8 and then the full name. Ugh, that is ugly. puke, but it didn't dump anything out. So what are we looking at for this games? No, that's not what we want. We want this season store, season games. Find any. Okay, perfect. It's only getting the one game now. All right. And so if we check venues, it should just be the one, and teams should be 2. Perfect. Okay. So with that all done, now we can look at the Create New Season job. Create New Season job. Because here is where we are. So we're passing in this idea of a season, which is an array right now, but it's going to be a okay, so here we can go. So if this season venues, so for each season venues, so instead of being venue name, it's going to be venue name. And all of these are going to have that anyways. And venue time zone. Okay, we don't care about that. Okay, and so because those are properties, correct? And can be able to go like that. And again. Okay, so those teams are created. And add games if this season games, add games to season. So we're sending the entire thing over there. So let's go add games to season. And sports team, okay, blah, blah, blah. So this is going to be home team, away team, game, start date, venue time zone. So if we say fetched game, I just want to make sure we're looking at the right stuff. Home team, away team, venue start date. Home team, away team, venue ID, which we've created above here. Game venue. Yes, so home team, away team, time zone, venue. Okay, so if we run this now, they should all pass. And so now the fun part of refactoring the other fetchers to use this, the new, the class syntax instead of using these passed in arrays. So we're just going to fetch, which was the one we were just doing. Fetch NHL season. Okay, so fetch CFL season. How much work are we doing in here? Get game data, cache, get team data, determine regular season dates. Okay, so we can basically just go like this. Comment this out for a minute. We're going to say new fetched team, home team, original logo URI. Okay, these can go away now. str timestamp. So this games equals new fetched game. So we need the home team. Wait, no, that's not what we want. We want away team, venue, and start date. That can all go away. Prepare venues. So we are going to say this venue equals new fetched venue. Here we're just going to use UTC since we're not able to look it up. All right, so now if we do a test for CFL, those should all pass as well. Beauty. So as you can probably tell, so I got a question in the chat here. Are we making a game or what? Okay, so to explain what we're doing here, this is a site that a SaaS application that I'm building called Stub Squad, and it's for people who share season tickets to a sports team. And so the idea is that the group of people that own these season tickets can sign up. We ingest the home team schedule for that league. So let's say you're a New York Yankees fan, for example. And actually, we can go through this really quickly because it is a pretty simple setup. So we can say we have season tickets to the New York Yankees. Okay. Apparently, I've only got hockey on my local machine here. So we'll use the Rangers as an example. So we're a fan of the Rangers, and we have season tickets to the Rangers. And so the idea is that everyone who we share tickets with is going to be invited to Stub Squad as a member of this season. And then every person is going to rank their own games or rank every game in the season individually based on how badly they want to go to it. And then once everyone has made their picks, it's kind of like a draft in that the system will pick based on this drafting order. So like if you're going like Alice, Bob, Carol, and then Bob, Carol, Alice, and then Carol, Alice, Bob, as in like each person gets to pick once, the system will go that way, or you can just go, the same order each time, or you can bounce back and forth. We'll just pick the default one here. And so when you have the games, you can basically, and I'm not sure why it's not putting them in order there, but we can fix that later. And you basically drag the games you want to go to most to the top. So if I'm a Rangers fan, I probably want to go to the Bruins and the Penguins, maybe the Red Wings really often. Those are my favorite games. And so once that happens, everyone gets to, or everyone will be assigned their tickets kind of thing is the idea. And so right now what we're doing is we're just going back and refactoring some of the schedule fetchers that I'd written for some of these leagues. The NHL changed their API recently, and so a bunch of the stuff specifically for the NHL is even more complicated that I had to go through and figure out. But yeah, now we're just refactoring so that instead of using an array to store some of the information before we actually run the job to ingest them into the database, I wanted to make it a class so that it's a little more rigid or a little more strict as to what needs to be in those arrays or in those kind of data structures before we try and generate the seasons. It's not giving us any new functionality right now. This is all kind of quality of life stuff so that when we start adding more leagues in the future, it's a lot easier for the person writing the ingester to know what they need to create as far as the entire season, because a season consists of teams, it consists of games, and it consists of what's the third one I'm missing here? And venues, sorry. Yes, venues. So like where the game is actually being played. And so we want to make sure that when the person is ingesting the schedule data from whatever API we find for that particular league, that they are sending the system the right rightly formatted information so that our system can ingest it and fetch all the kind of ancillary stuff that's necessary. So, for example, when we create a season, we create a venue. So like, let's say Madison Square Garden, right? So the person isn't required to know the time zone for Madison Square Garden. We can go fetch that after. And so by that we want to make sure that when we're fetching that time zone, for example, like it's in Eastern time zone, like America, New York, that it's getting the right stuff and it's in the right format so that the system can go get it correctly. And so when I built these fetchers, it was a really it was not like I wasn't doing it, I'm going to say properly, air quotes. And so this is going back and making sure that it's done a little more properly. They're not perfect by any stretch. Like they could definitely use some more refactoring, but this is just something that I know I ran into last week when I was working on the NHL fetcher, and I realized that this is a pain point that I'm dealing with right now. And so I want to fix it so that as these APIs change over time, we're able to get or at least I can get the most out of my time, and I'm not spending a bunch of time fiddling around with, how does this API respond and what structure do I need to have my own data in before I can do anything with it. So that's where this is all coming from. So now that we've got this stuff figured out, this should actually be pretty quick. So if we go to soccer fetcher, because a lot of these are going to be they use the same API, so that they basically just so right here, like we're doing this is for all of the different soccer leagues here. So we can go like this and say this. Actually, we're just gonna go like this. New fetched team. But as far as what this channel is about, I really wanted to show what just a normal developer does on any given day. And I mean, your days are not always going to be like the fun, exciting, super exciting stuff, I guess. It's like some of your days are just going to be the boring old, got to go back and refactor stuff to make it a little more user friendly. And that's as important to the process of development as writing the cool new feature. I think it's just as important to have readable, usable code that's just quick to look at and quick to understand and reason about. So that's why I'm doing this. Is it useful, or is it going to earn me any more money? Definitely not. But is it going to make my life easier in the future? 100%. I hope that incredibly long-winded answers your question. If not, you can just post it again in the chat and I'll try and answer any more questions. Away team, venue, and start date. Okay, and just need this new fetched venue. Okay, prepare seasons. Those should all work. So now if we do EFL, there should be 3. Ooh, okay. How to parse time string. Okay, so what are we doing wrong here? It is the could not parse. Add games to season. Okay, so line 60. That's interesting. Art Tinker. Yeah, not all of us have the green color screens, unfortunately. Although I am ashamed or maybe not a shame, but it hurts my heart to admit that I was around for the days when those green color screens were very common. I remember back in, I want to say grade 5, using an Apple IIe and the logo programming language. So I've definitely been there with the green screens and and actually my first computer was I think it was an 8086 or something, and it had one of the amber colored screens. So I've been there. But instead of wearing a hoodie inside, I prefer to just have my little space heater running. Carbon, is that a thing? I can't remember. Undefined function. Okay, so carbon parse. Could not parse the string. Failed to parse time string. Blah blah blah. Unexpected character. If I do that, it should work, right? Okay, so we want to in the EFL in here where it's creating the game, on the start date, we want to change that to an integer. Still doesn't like it. Failed to parse. Okay, so it's an integer now. Why is that? Failed to parse time string. Okay, so what if we go like this? I don't think this is a great idea, but I just want to test it out. So carbon parse. Will that even work? I don't know. It will not. Oh, it does. Okay, so it gets the date. So add games to season. So carbon parse start date. There we go. Okay, kind of an ugly hack, but I will take it. Okay, so the soccer fetcher is done. Let's check out MLB. So venues, we're going to say this venues team venue name equals new fetched venue. This venue name and that. Oh, team venue name. There we go. Okay, that's good. Prepare season. Okay, where are the games being created? MLBAM fetcher. Okay. Right. Okay. So again, we're gonna say this teams home team equals new fetched team of home team and original logo URI. The schools don't work here because issues with the teachers. Where are you located? That sounds not great. And honestly, and sorry, I just saw your comment about the HTML and CSS. That stuff is awesome. Like I very much, I think, prefer the HTML and CSS part of web development more than I do the backend stuff. My brain works better with the backend stuff, but I enjoy the front end stuff more. Even though I'm not as good at it, I like the idea of visually communicating something. I think it's such an interesting thing to do, is to basically take this idea that you have as a website and to convert that into something that someone can go look at and use. I think that's just like the coolest thing ever. So it's awesome. I'm very, I think it's great that you're going down that path, even if it's just a hobby. That's awesome. Home team. Team, venue, and start date. Okay, so MLB. Cool, those ones pass. NBA. Actually, let's go over here because we can. Let's just copy this because this is going to be used so often. Fetch team. Equals new fetched game. Oops, did not want to do that. We'll get rid of that. Let's copy that so we have it in our clipboard as well. This venue game arena name equals new fetched venue game arena name, and we'll just say UTC for now since we're not checking it. Okay. Oh, you're in Morocco. Well, welcome from Morocco. That's awesome. I'm in Canada. It's, again, a site like Twitch or YouTube, it blows me away that we can be on completely opposite sides of the planet, literally opposite sides of the planet, and we can be communicating while I'm coding. I think that's just, it's so amazing. Like, there are so many ways that people use technology incorrectly or badly or whatever, but I think it's just a beautiful thing that we can chat like that. It makes me so happy. NCAA football. Okay, so we can replace this with this one. Okay. New fetched venue of that UTC. Okay, so it's the same thing that we were having before. So, pardon me. So timestamp. So what are we saying? We wanted carbon parse int of that. Cool. NFL. Okay. Games, same. We're probably going to have the same issue again. So let's check this out. Import it. Property array, name on array. Right. New fetched venue at UTC. Okay, yeah, just like I thought. So we're going to say carbon parse. Cast it to an int. Those should all pass. Yeah, I mean, it's awful that you're dealing with the school issues, and sorry, I did see that, but one thing that I can say is that, you know, with web development specifically, and I know this doesn't apply to whatever you're studying, but at least with web development, you can still continue to learn on your own. I'm basically fully self-taught, and there's so much information out there about whatever you want to learn, whether it's about web development or flying or whatever, right? And so while it sucks that, you know, Morocco is obviously going through some issues with your education system, I mean, that doesn't mean that there isn't information out there that you can't learn. And I think that's the beauty of the internet, is that if you want to learn, you can. It's just a matter of picking up Google and searching for something and just going down the rabbit hole. NFL is done. NHL is should be done. Yep. So that should be it. So we have a working updated fetcher system. So let's go like this. So let's add these ones. So creating fetcher classes. Okay. Updating create new season job to use new fetcher classes. And then updating fetchers to use new model classes. Okay, so we can push those up. Okay, so the next thing that we can do, and I'm not super clear on how this is all going to work. It's not something that I've done before, but Laravel has a new feature that I believe it's called ensure, and the method I'm not. We'll double check this in a sec, but the purpose of it is to say that when you create a collection, you can ensure that the collection only contains certain types of things. And so, for example, if we want to create a teams collection, we can ensure that the only thing in that teams collection are teams, and that they're not being added. Other things aren't being added. Is it going to provide a lot of value for us here? Probably not. Again, it's something that how do I put this? It's just going to make things more, not even locked down. I don't even know what the word is. We want to ensure that people are conforming to what a season is, and we don't want them to just be putting random things in this, in the season model, if you want to call it that, because we don't want them to what's the word, unintentionally add breaking data in there. And so by doing this, we can ensure that those things are correct. So if we go to collections, this might just be the concept of collection. Oh, ensure. Okay. So maybe use to verify that all elements of a collection are of a given type or list of types. Otherwise, an unexpected value exception will be thrown. So yeah, so the idea is we have like this collection that we'll create of, let's say, teams, and then we'll ensure that it is only teams. In fact, we won't even need to do that. We can just do that on the check before we create the new season. So for example, if we go create new season, and oh, right, because season teams. So let's go. Actually, you know what? I think we're going to skip that for now. There's some more reading I'm going to have to do, and a couple of things I got to think about that. So we're just going to put that on the back burner for now. But let's just go to the issues thing and take a look at what we've got here. So use proper classes instead of custom arrays. This is done. So we can close this one. Actually, I guess I should double check that the action actually, oh, it failed. Okay, so where did it fail? Has parameter games with no value type specified in iterable type. So fetched season. Oh, right, because these. So we need to say. So, okay, so what this is complaining about is that so PHP stand, we have it at level 7, is basically saying that the constructor, so games, teams, and venues right now are just arrays, and we haven't defined the exact structure of what those arrays should look like. So if we go to the create new season, we probably already have those here. I just put it as mixed. And I think for now, we're just going to continue to do that because the right. Okay, so what it's complaining about is someone could pass in an array in any structure kind of thing, right? Like it could be an array of numbers, it could be an array of letters. Like right now, it's not actually enforced that it's an array of team types. So I'm curious if we go fetched team, will it be smart enough to understand that? Probably not. This should be fetched venue. And this should be fetched game. Okay, so if we run PHP stand now, awesome. Cool. So, okay, so what we've basically done here is we've said, okay, this array must only have fetched teams in it, and this one must only have fetched venues and so on. So that's good. Okay, so we can update that and say fixing PHP stand issues with generic array types. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So the idea with the ensure is that we would have like a list of teams that we would want to make sure it only has a list of teams and someone hasn't put like some numbers in there as well. And no, I'm not going to avoid your English. Your English is great. I totally understand what you're saying. So don't like you're doing fantastic. Like, so yeah. So the idea with ensure is that if we're sending up a list of teams, it's only going to have teams in it, or the list of venues is only going to have venues in it, right? We don't want to try and process a number like we would a venue, right? Because we're assuming that that's a list of venues so that it's going to have a name and a time zone. But if you send up like just a random string, for example, it doesn't know what that is. So yeah, so the ensure is just a way of ensuring that what you're about to process is what you think you're about to process. So yeah, so that should be okay for that. So let's go back to our list O things here. I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm curious what pest failed on. Ooh, that's not great. I think it's probably just to do with how we changed the types there, and so we'll probably just have to go update the test to use the object or the object types now. Yeah, so create new season. So we want to create new season test. Create new season test. And so here, yeah, so what we really need to do is say team one equals new fetched team. Why is that doing this? Okay. Sorry, this is just going to take a second here. Okay, and so now we can just go like team one, team two. And we're going to have to do the same for the venues. So venue one equals new. Nisk, welcome to the chat. For this font, I believe is it's the JetBrains Mono with the ligatures. So yeah, so for all their products, they have the free font that comes with the JetBrains font, but it's free. You can just download the font itself. So it's this one, JetBrains Mono is the font. Fetched venue is going to be Madison Square Garden. And time zone is going to be America, New York. So Scotiabank Saddle Dome. And this is America, Edmonton. Wembley is going to be UTC. that and say venue 1, venue 2, venue 3. Okay. And then game 1 equals new fetched game. Edmonton Oilers, Scotiabank, Saddledome, and this time zone. Okay, and so now games is going to be game 1. Okay, so what is it complaining about? Game 1. What is the problem? Do I have like a semicolon in the wrong place or something? Oh, there we go. Okay, so now if we run pest, let's go filter, create new season test. Read property name on array. Yeah, that's kind of to be expected. So that's on line 74. Right. Do we really need to do that? I don't think so. We just want to do this season. Oh, I probably got, that sucks. Okay. Annoying. I'm gonna have to do this again. Okay, venues are gonna be Gillette and Meadowlands. Meadowlands, and that's also going to be America, New York. Venue 1, venue 2. Time shouldn't matter, but I'm just going to pull it out anyways. Oh, it's the same. Okay. And so now we can say this is just going to be game 1. Good. Those are all passing. So what else is not passing? Add games to season tests. Games to season test. Yeah. So where is it actually going to fail? Can we get ahead of this? Probably not. Okay. So there's only 2 failing tests, so that's okay. So 46. Pardon me. Add games to season 42 game venue. Right. Let's just go back to the same file we were just in and pull some of that stuff out so we can use it again. So what do we need? We need a game. Okay, that, and the time is the same, so we don't need to worry about that. Just put these on separate lines so it looks a little better. And then import new fetched game. Nope. Add games to season test. Okay, that one passed, and then the same thing up here. This time the venue should exist, so we'll just go like that. All right, now those tests should pass. Beautiful. So if we run the full test suite, now everything should pass. Just gonna get caught up in chat here. Oh, nothing new. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this should be okay. Perfect. Okay, so we have a passing test suite, so that's good. So we can commit this code, close all this. Updating tests to use new fetcher model classes. Yeah, if we run PHP stand, it should work. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, let's go back to our tickets here and see what we got. What can we do? Send an email to season admin when someone joins. That's an interesting one. Add an icon for light or dark mode. Yes, this will be extremely easy. Oh, generate a sitemap for blog posts. This is done. This is done. Okay. Check policies in Livewire. Proxies. Okay, well, the light dark mode thing is going to be extremely easy. So, dark mode. Okay, so all this is basically saying is right now, this this toggle switch doesn't really explain what it's for. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little icon inside of the unshone, the open side, whatever, to show what it would be otherwise. So if we go to Heroicons and we search dark mode. Okay, so this one is going to show. Okay, so we got the moon. Do we want the? Yeah, we want the moon to show when it's light. So how? Input checkbox. Oh, this might be a little more difficult than I was expecting. What happens if we go? I'm just gonna put that there for a second. I just want to see where it shows up. Okay, so yeah, so it's. And then if we delete that just for a second, yeah, that's not inside it either. Okay, so how can we do this? I'm thinking we might just put it right here and say class, oops, flex, space x2 items center, and how do we want to do the text? So yeah, I think we're actually just going to say class text white, regardless of, yeah, because the text is white either way. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, and what if we do, is there light? Okay, so let's do like this. So this one is going to be dark hidden. And this one is going to be hidden dark block. So why is that? I was not realizing that there's a bit of a jump in the where these things actually are. I'm thinking it has to do with, yeah. Okay, well, for right now, that works. I think I'm actually going to get the filled in version of the moon. Okay, so this is going to be, this is the moon. This is light. So this is going to be dark hidden text white. Okay, so now, yeah, that looks better. Okay, so that was a very quick fix. Another thing we can check off our list here. So this is 95. So this is adding icon to dark mode toggle closes number 95. Yeah, 95. Cool. Let's just take a look before we commit anything to actions. Okay, so those pass, so it's going to get deployed if it hasn't already. Cool. Next. Yeah, so it looks like it's the border, but it's actually different. So when I was, it's like, so when I was doing the dark mode, I did a bunch of different things that I'm eventually going to port back to the light mode version, but it's not just the border, it's also the padding between the header and the edge, because if you look, if I turn it off, there's actually a little more space. I think it's like a P3 instead of a P2. So it's not just the border. I mean, I guess we can check, but I'm like 99% certain that yeah, because where's the dark mode stuff? Dark. Okay, so there's no dark mode in here. What am I missing? Yeah, so this should all be the same. Is there like a border? Oops. Oh, this is in the public header. Okay, that's why. Don't save. So header. Yeah, that's the public header. So where is the dashboard? What are we loading? So dark. PY12. Okay, so application mark. So it's gotta be. Let's take a look. Layouts, blade, toast, navigation menu. Border 4. So if we say dark, border 4, dark, and we'll just use the same color. So dark border, purple. Oh, I think that's, oh, we'll take a look. Yeah, it's still moving. Am I doing different padding? I don't think I am in dark mode. No. Yeah. I'll have to play with it some more. But anyways, I mean, it generally, like the functionality works. I'm not super concerned about that. It's just kind of annoying. Anyways, that site Heroicons is amazing. Yeah. So I don't know if this is the first time you're seeing it, Nisk. Sorry, I just had to see your name there. But it's actually created by the same guys who do Tailwind CSS. So Steve Shoger and Adam Wathen. It is fantastic. If you use Laravel, there's actually another site that I just saw by Dries Vince. He has I want to say Laravel icons. I can't remember what the package is called. I just saw it, the Blade icons. So this, I think is it under its own thing or something now? Blade icons. Oh, gotta learn how to spell apparently. Blade icons. And so this, it's specifically for Laravel. So if you're not using Laravel, it's probably not going to be as useful, although you might be able to like port it to not require Laravel. But he basically, it includes like all of these different icon packs. It is like insane. Like it's so good. I think there's like 100,000 icons or something in this pack or something like that. I thought I saw. He was posting. I think maybe it was on his Twitter or something. But yeah, if you go look, actually, let's go take a look. x.com/DriesVince. Yeah, I thought he announced that they just had 100,000 icons or something. It was crazy. Yeah, right here. So we've surpassed 100,000 icons in our Blade icon search. 102,841 icons, all for free. Like you will not find a better collection of icons. It's insane. So like if you're building apps and you need quick access to a ton of options, like this is obviously a no-brainer. I don't use many icons in my app, so I don't really want to import such a big package for that. But if you are using icons all over the place, like you cannot go wrong with this. Like you will find exactly what you're looking for somewhere in this package. It's awesome. Okay, going back to here. Okay, so the icons thing is done. I just want to make sure that passed. Okay, it did. So the next thing I want to do, this should again be fairly quick, is so we use Cloudflare in front of Stub Squad as our CDN and also our WAF. And so right now, when you log in, if we actually go to like the actual like real site, if we go to our profile, the IP that, oh, I guess I can zoom in a little bit here. The IP that shows up as our browser session, this 162.158.166.30, this is actually a Cloudflare IP. And what's happening is because it's a CDN, it's basically acting like a proxy. And so our server sees all of the requests as if they're all coming from Cloudflare. And so what we want to do is we basically want to add a package that replaces this IP with the person's actual IP, and Cloudflare does pass that as an X forwarded for header. So if we use this Laravel Cloudflare package, basically what it does is it says, okay, if the request is coming from one of Cloudflare's IPs, look at the X forwarded for header and actually replace the IP with the actual IP of the original requester, and not just of Cloudflare itself. So I was looking at this the other day. It looks pretty simple to set up. So let's just do this. So require Laravel Cloudflare. You don't need to add this package to your service providers. Okay. Configure middleware. Option 1, add Cloudflare Trust Proxies middleware and remove the default one. Okay. Option 2, extend the current middleware to use Cloudflare Trust Proxies middleware. I mean, I'm fine just replacing the current Trust Proxies with this Trust Proxies. So let's close out of here. From I use FontAwesome. Yeah, FontAwesome is a great option as well. It's super easy to import with a CDN. Like it's awesome as well. So yeah, that's another great option. What are we trying to do here? We are, all right, the kernel. Kernel HTTP this time. And so middleware groups. So where is the trust proxies? Okay, so I'm going to comment that out. We're going to do this, and then we're going to import it. Did it actually import? I don't think it did. No. Okay, so we can go like this. Use that for trust proxies. Right, and so we want to comment out trust proxies here. Okay, so now it's going to use the trust proxies package, but we basically now have to have it refresh their cache, because Cloudflare can obviously change their IPs at any time. So what we want to do is we want to basically create an artisan command, or schedule the reload in the console kernel so that it will refresh these daily. And again, they suggest daily. I'm probably going to do it hourly, just because we can. So if we go kernel console, we want to go hourly, and we want it to be Cloudflare reload. Okay, so yeah, so hourly, it's going to go get the most recent IPs from Cloudflare. And I believe that should be it. Let's just double check that we're actually getting the blocks. Okay, cool. Those are Cloudflare's IP blocks, both the IPv4 and IPv6, so that's good. Let's just take a look. So 162.158. So I want to double check that IP 162.158. Yeah, 162.158. Yeah, so that would be included in there. Perfect. Okay. So don't need to publish the options. And let's just run our tests again. Again, this shouldn't have broken anything, but let's just make sure. Pardon me. Yeah, so my goal is to stream every Sunday night. There are occasionally there are weeks where I don't stream, but I'm trying to make it more of a habit, and I post all of my streams on YouTube after the fact. So if you come and take a look here, actually here, I'll just go to YouTube right now. I'll just go to the channel, switch account, and this channel. Oops. Nexay dev. Yeah, so I'll post the link in chat here. paste. Okay, so youtube.com/@nexay_dev. Yeah, so that link is where I post all of my recorded streams, and so they get posted usually within a couple hours of me finishing the stream. So if you happen to miss one, I'm all there. All the videos show up here. Yeah, like I said, within a couple hours, so you can always check them out after the fact. So let's see here. That should be it. The tests, I believe, passed. Yes, so we can commit those as well. So adding Cloudflare trusted proxies. Trust proxies package. Okay. And so I think with that, I'm going to call it for the night. So just to kind of recap all of the things we did, because we actually did quite a bit here. So we got the sitemap crawler working. So that's all working. Oh, thanks for the sub there. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, so we got the sitemap crawler working. We're now using classes to enforce a little more compliance with the structure of what the job is expecting, to make sure that it's going to be able to process everything that needs to be processed correctly. And then we also added that little icon for the light and dark mode. And then we also added the Cloudflare trusted proxies package, so that we can see the correct IPs when someone goes to the browser session, so they're not worried that someone's hacked their account or whatever. So I just want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. This was really fun. I really enjoyed the interaction. I hope you guys come back next week. It'll be the same time next week, and I'm sure I'll have another list of things to knock out. But yeah, it's been great. Thanks again, and yeah, see you next time.